I am coming from Christ University, Bengaluru. I am a professor in that university and a faculty of engineering. I work for RF and microwave division of Electronics and Communication Engineering department. Also, I have taken the responsibility of heading the PhD scholars as a PhD coordinator for the faculty of engineering in the university. So I prefer to talk on this general topic only, because even though there are some topics or some wordings which are appearing to be common, we can speak from our own experience, giving examples of what to do, what not to do, and what are the ways with which we can elevate or we can excel in doing our research and making publications. So I thought that can be the title which I can go with. So understanding plagiarism have been talked by so many persons who came just before me, and each one has given their own idea in a different way with experiences. It was nice to hear from them, and what I tried to focus here is plagiarism. Really, we speak so much about it. Maybe we are all guides, we are all holding some positions, and we are all doing our own research. But how to make the students understand about plagiarism is very, very important. Even though you speak so many, you give so many examples, show several PPTs, they will not so simply understand all these. So they will have always confusion with them. What is this? I am writing on my own and bringing. This professor is telling that there is something copied. What went wrong or what is to be done with them is really the question which I make it here. So they are not aware of what is really plagiarism. And then, as everyone told, it is dishonest, it is copying version, it is duplicate, it is not to be done, it is not ethical, all this. So what I am interested in telling here is, instead of telling, or in addition to telling all this, we spend time with the students, we spend time with the colleagues who are approaching us to make them understand, to help them in a better way so that they also come up with their publications very nicely. So there are several circumstances which are to be handled by a professor or a teacher or a researcher. So I just like to highlight some of the things here. So sometimes we may have to borrow some ideas. We will not have any clue when we start with our research or any project. So we may go and discuss with somebody to what level we are discussing, what ideas we are collecting from them. Based on the intensity of the amount of ideas that we collect from them, we should give due respect. So the respect can come in the form of giving acknowledgement at the end of the paper, or if the work is more, contribution is more, we can give them credit in the paragraph or in the text in which the flow of research is going on. So that depends. Once I was talking to a researcher, he unfortunately could not have the same researcher, same guide for him. So he said, my guide is away, now I have got a new guide, so I don't want to add his name or I don't want to give credit to him. That is not fair, because the guide has gone somewhere away from the university or away from India, but the idea is still from them only, from him only. So we need to give credit at least in the acknowledgement, telling the amount of contribution that is made by the person who involved initially for sharing the ideas. So that is where we need to, in fact, be with the students or be with the researchers to make them understand. And these are some of the things which I like to highlight here. So missing to acknowledge is coming this way only, and not being skillful to write even if ideas are won. Professor before me also told very nicely, ideas will be there, not knowing how to present. So let the scholar make some mistakes of first drafting the ideas, then come out with the first version, second version, third version, like that. I have one more example or experience with this. One of my colleagues, she was doing MTech project somewhere. She wanted to come and get her write-up about the MTech thesis verified by me. So she came to me, I verified. And she came with a printout. I verified and then I made all the corrections on pen and then gave it to her. She went to another computer set and then corrected, incorporated so many new mistakes and then came. Again it was printed and it came to me. Again I marked, in addition to the old corrections made, I found some new mistakes. Again I told her that there are some new mistakes committed into, added into it. Then she went and sat with the third computer, started doing. It is not intentional, she did not know how to do. Then fourth computer also she was sitting. I did not know what went wrong. Every time she came, there were new mistakes added. Then I sat with her and then asked to narrate what happened. She was narrating. First I sat with this computer nearby. Then I could not find that computer available, so I went to another computer. This is very silly mistake, but it added so many complications. So we have to be very, very careful in knowing what is done, what had happened, what actually to be helped with a particular scholar. So then I identified the problem that had happened. I asked her to bring all the printouts what she had collected, and she got corrected from me. And then I told her to make all the corrections perfectly. Fifth time it was done very nicely. Only thing what happened in this particular small example, I could spend time with the scholar without any impatience, so I could help so that the scholar was able to come out with a very nice write-up in the fifth verification. Then inability to understand the existing methods. How it comes, the scholar is refusing, or scholar is not interested, not finding time to read others' work for want of time, because of the force that is coming from the management or the department that the work has to be completed, or from the university. Because of all this, what happens? They don't read, simply they copy, simply they see from the internet or the other publications, try to manage with. There only the complication comes. So first and foremost, what we need to understand it, make the scholar read. Reading is very, very important. And nowadays we find so many sophisticated tools are available with us. Now the students are not seen with a notebook or with a book for reading. They all go with a small booklet, the mobile with them, even for the examinations. In front of the examination hall, they all sit with the mobile and then read from that. Actually speaking, in all the places, we need not implement the rule that paper is not to be wasted. In certain issues, we need to use the paper. Print, read, then you will understand much better than reading from online. So this only I recommend here. And ignoring others' works, as others told, and extension of already published work. It may be our work also. I belong to engineering, so I want to say something about it. Many of the research can be done in 3 or 4 different ways in general. So it can be theoretical fully, or it can be mathematical modeling, or it can be simulation, or it can be experimental, or a combination of all these. Then simulation work is done, and that is published in a journal or conference. Next, as an elevation to the work done, it can be experimented and validation can be done over it. In that case, no other go, the work that has been published already by the scholar has to be once again revised, once again taken. So that need not be considered as plagiarism to the extent the scholar is able to explain in a paragraph about what had happened in the simulation. It is not to simply repeat. In a paragraph, it has to be narrated properly that this result has been obtained and this has been already published. In continuation of that, to validate, I am doing this experiment, and this experimental results are now compared with the simulation results. Like this, if it is written, it will be very beautifully coming out. I have my own example. My research assistant sitting in my laboratory, we have recently published one paper in IEEE Explore. An extension of that experiment was done, and she was clueless of what to write because it has been already published. Then I was waiting for her for 1 week, 15 days, nothing came out. Then I called her, bring all the results, leave some space between the results. Then I was traveling by train, I wrote everything, clicked and then sent to her. She was very happy, telling, Madam, nothing is repeated, everything is new. So I wanted to demonstrate certain times instead of simply advising them. So I demonstrated. It is very helpful tool for her now because she is interested in continuing her career with research in Germany. She is trying. So she said, I learn every day new things. So please inspire people who are around you. Then do's. Under this category, I would like to say things to be nurtured. Pick a topic of your interest. Not fancy over things, not because to please the guide or some professor. Pick a work of your interest. Pick a work in which you are comfortable. Pick a work in which you can do on your own. You can learn on your own. Otherwise, please don't do research. No need for doing such a research. So this habit you should inculcate among our members. Then culture of being honesty. If you take others' ideas, others' work, please be honest enough to declare somewhere in the text, in the flow, or in the reference, or in the acknowledgement. That is better way of doing. So this culture is to be inculcated in our habits. Publishing the outcomes of own work own work only, even if it is delayed. So for want of time, you don't have to copy from others and then do. Take time and then perform properly. Then you publish your paper. And creating plenty of opportunities when it will happen to address the challenges with innovative or intuitive ideas. When it will happen, only when we read. So again, I'm stressing reading is very, very important. Then other things, some of our previous speakers have told, quoting, citing, all those informations which we collect from others. So that includes even sometimes the information that we collect from YouTube also, information that we collect from Facebook also. Nothing wrong, mention properly. And this habit, as I have told, a nurturing habit should happen from the beginning. Even let it be a UG project or PG project or whatever it is, any good assignment which you are giving, ask them to go through this process. So in our university, we have a system like that. So there is a particular course in MTech level. It is called Professional Practice 1 and 2. In 2 levels it is conducted. There also we ask the scholars to come out with different ideas, give their own writing. Along with that, we would also pass this through, turn it in, and go and give them the amount of similarity index that is done for the particular write-up that they are submitting. So they will be actually learning from this. They are so happy. What I did was, I asked my research PhD scholar to come and review the work of the MTech scholar who underwent this professional practice. He was very happy, telling, I did not have any chance to learn this professional practice. I'm able to see lot of transformation happened in the student from first sem to third sem when they are completing their professional practice too. So what I stress here is, through professional practice, we can, in fact, in a professional way, give practice to the students. If there is no professional practice as a course that is given in universities, nothing wrong. You can call the scholar, spend some time, and then give this kind of practice. And nurture all the above points without missing is my interest. To avoid plagiarism, there are a few tips which I am also interested in giving. First of all, to understand plagiarism. Second thing, make the scholar understand about the plagiarism. Then check your work, possibly. And if you have any doubt, ask one of the professors who was speaking before me, double check. Check thrice, nothing wrong. Then 2 more things which I am interested in telling here. First of all, when you do work, you should know this 5W4H concept. You all know, many of the people who are working with management are quite familiar with this. This is very, very important. Actually, they call it 5W1H. Later it was converted into 2H. I am just adding 2 more H here because that is important. So this 5W is nothing but what actually we are doing must be known. Then why we are doing, who used to do this work, and when it is to be performed, where it is to be performed, all these are to be known. That means it is in connection with plagiarism only I am telling all this. In addition to this, how we can make a work done, how much we can do, how many times we can do, and how long this can be done. If you think of all these things, if you want, it can be actually tabulated and we can make all the works listed. Then we will come to know where we are committing such mistakes. So that can be done. Another interesting point which I would like to mention as a 5th point is the one which I learned when I was teaching the UG scholars with total quality management. I happened to teach this subject for 6 years continuously. So I was much interested in doing this work because around 21 years I was heading department. So the heading department is more related to this particular total quality management. So there is a beautiful statement like, do it right at the first time itself. So when you are scholar or you or your colleagues are doing research, trying to publish, so what they need to do is do everything right in the first time itself. For which what should be done? They should be aware of plagiarism and they should know and they should understand what is to be done, what is not to be done. So more on this, we have been speaking so much about it. We have been telling that plagiarism to be checked and there are several softwares, there are several ways, all this we are telling. But we should know to some extent how many of the foreign universities are functioning. They are not simply telling that plagiarism to be avoided. There is severe punishment for all these things. So we should educate our researchers, our members, what kind of punishments we will get if it is known, if it is understood, if it is verified, if people are coming to know that plagiarism done and it is to be banned. So what will happen is serious issues like asking the scholar to withdraw the course, asking the person to withdraw or removal of the publication that is done. It is very, very shameful, not only for the individual, but the person who is connected with the university or the department, everywhere. So it has to be very carefully dealt with. And for this reason, we should not threaten the students or the researchers. We should give them the thorough awareness on this. You should not make them become panicky. That is very, very important, because otherwise people will run away from doing research if we just try to tell all these things only. So some of the videos are there which we can ask the scholar to go through, because it is simple in language, simple in understanding. We need not always give only the PPT or always give talk, always ask them to read. There are also means and ways to make changes in the way of dealing, way of presenting. So these videos which I have brought here, I don't want to play because already time is running short. So maybe the researchers who are here, if they are interested in, they can click on their own, try to find out some of the videos which will be really very useful. What will happen if plagiarism done? What to do to avoid plagiarism? All this can be dealt or prepared or practiced. So it is always recommended to practice before perform. So that is what I like to recommend. I am just remembered of one incident which happened when I was doing my MTech in NIT Tiruchirappalli. That time it was called REC. When I was doing my MTech, I underwent a course called image processing. So that time a new computer was brought to the college, to the institution. It was first time some 10 lakhs rupees was spent for bringing that particular computer. So we learned thoroughly about it, and after 2 years I became a faculty in the department of ECE. So after 2 years I found one of my friends who studied at Coimbatore joined for MTech after 2 years of my completion when I was working as faculty. I was dealing with a subject called satellite communication with her. So she was thinking that I was the teacher for that subject. So what she did was, in the image processing computer where I was doing my work, there was a particular course called image processing laboratory which was equivalent to your subject. I did a work on image processing using Fortran language at those times. I developed one coding for doing some image processing for processing an image. So what she did was, that particular software, that particular program, project, everything was kept as it is in that particular computer. I was working as a faculty dealing with another subject. She went daily changing only the name where I have written my name. Instead of my name, she wrote her name, and completely she took all the results of mine. She produced her report. She was thinking that I was only handling that particular subject. It is her bad time or so. I was called to be the examiner for her for that particular subject. So that subject was actually image processing and microwave laboratory. So half 50% I should verify, 50% another professor who was my guide. So both were sitting as examiners. She came and presented my work to me. So I was shocked to see that, but I deliberately told the professor that I cannot agree this. It is whole of my work. I cannot agree with this. So professor is wondering what I would do. So I normally go with ethics. So I told, certainly for this reason, I am going to fail this student, even though she is known to me. She was known to me because she was, we both used to travel to Coimbatore together when we were doing our UG. So I told she was known to me, but it is not actually the case where I can relax. I am failing her. So I did it. She felt very bad. Later, after a few years, she understood. She came to me and she was telling, I did a blunder mistake and you educated me by failing me. Otherwise, I would not have learned that. So I'm just remembered of this. With this, what I'm trying to say is, please allow the scholars to be with you, guide them properly, give your time, dedicate your time, and see the beauty that they are publishing quality papers in quality journals. And our standard in the world will be rising because we are dedicating our time. Thank you so much for spending your time with me.